Before I start to work on the cabinet, I've put the chassis back in the set to see how things fit. Work on these replacement knobs. Just as an example, this is the on-off volume and the contrast knob. And you can see they look close to the original knob, but if you look at the side, the new one is thinner. The knob can be cut to where it will be back against the cabinet like that. Once I get the new knobs to fit, then I'll pull it back out and we'll start working on the cabinet itself. I have the channel selector and the fine tuning knob working good. What I had to do, these shafts are sticking out too far for these universal knobs to work. So what I had to do on the fine tuning knob over here, just like this knob, I had to cut this center on out to where it's the same size as the back part. That allowed me to slide this insert, and that lets the knob go further in on the cabinet. So I'm going to drill this one out and see if we can get it to fit as good as that fine tuning knob. And I'm just using this step bit, metal step bit, and of course it'll leak right in that plastic with no problem at all. So there's what it looks like before, and there's after. And now that metal insert, there's how much more it's slid up. Cut the center of that out, so that should be about right. Let's try it and see. Alright, looks pretty good. So we got to cut this one off to where it's close to flush with the back of the knob. To allow this metal insert to slide back into the knob, and the positioning won't matter on this knob, so anywhere I put it will work. But I need that to slide back in there. And what I'll do there is just take a soldering gun, heat that insert up, and just slide it right back in there. Should be good enough. Well, I think that'll work fine. It's on and off volume, contrast in behind it. Try it one more time just to be sure that my channel number is correct on the knob. And that's channel 6 on the modulator, and we're on channel 6. All right, I'm going to take the cabinet down to the other garage I have where I can do some sanding and woodworking and refinishing. But first I have to take out the bezel. This is plastic and there's glass in the front. Well, we got the bezel out, the glass, and it all came out from the back. So that's out of the way. This Travler emblem, 2 posts right there, right, those 2, and I think if I just straighten those out, then it will pull out. Next is a speaker grill, and I think I take this screw, this one, there's 2 more. There's one there and one there. So you use a lot of flathead screws back in the day. I guess Phillips weren't popular then. Just slides in there. One little tear right there, but otherwise it really looks 50s. Before I start sanding and working on the cabinet, I was looking at these decals here on the front. The water slide decals are the picture control or brightness control. They call it picture brilliance, and the vertical hold. The main on, off, and contrast, I see no decals showing what they do, so I don't think it ever had any on it for that. Channel selector and fine tuning, that's kind of self-explanatory when you got a channel selector knob with numbers on it. So, and after just a little bit of sanding here on the front edge, so we'll continue to sand and see what we got when we get everything sanded off. Well, this is a veneer. You can see it peeling up there. Veneer over plywood, it looks like. It might be just as simple just to put a completely new piece on top. Finally got the veneer off the top. Took about 3 hours, and that's using water and soaking it, but got it off. So I had the front sanded. Still haven't touched either side, but need to sand those two sides, and we're going to put some new veneer on top, of course, and then we'll be ready to put some finish on. Looking at finishes, that's a red mahogany that was on the set, and as you can tell by the red cast to the wood, even with all of it stripped off. But the only mahogany that I could find was the dark. It wasn't a red mahogany, it was just a dark mahogany. Now, I didn't really like that, so this is called a black cherry, and it does have a little red cast to it. So I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work right, then I can make changes then. I do have an American cherry just in a small can, and it's really red, as you can see there on the can. But I'm gonna try the black cherry first, and we'll see how it looks. All right, got the veneer today. So I'm gonna open it up and see what it looks like and how simple this is going to be to put on. Okay, there's what it looks like. And it has 3M sticky back on it. You just peel off and put on. Now, from what I've read, it shouldn't be too complicated a deal to put it on. You just make sure your surface is good and smooth, and this is. And you just peel the paper back, put it on. But then once that is on there, you just trim around the edge, and it just finishes like regular wood, because that's what it is. It's just veneer mahogany. So let's see if we can get this put on. I do like the way it went on. You don't have to use glue, contact cement, or whatever. So just peel the paper back and it sticks down, and it's like most 3M sticky back, it'll hold. So. And to trim the veneer, all I did was, you see here, put a framing square on the side, clamped it down really well, and I just took a knife right there, trimmed it off just fine. turned out pretty good. This is after one coat of stain. I like the shade of it. It's got the red cast to it. That's what I wanted. The plastic bezel that goes around the tube inside the cabinet cleaned up, so won't have to do anything to that. Just a good cleaning took care of it. The back, I haven't cleaned or done anything to it yet, and it does have a big hole here in it. I guess they cut that in there to check the picture tube without taking the back off. I don't know. The bottom's even damaged too, as you can see there. It's crushed in. And this is just really nothing but paper, cardboard. So I think I'm going to try to make a new cover. And looking this over, the 4 parts that stick through the back, you see 2 of them I've already taken the metal tabs off. This part, I don't know. It'd be kind of hard to get those out and recrimp them. Had this masonite left over from the Mech TV restore where I made a back for it. And my piece is cut out. I'm going to hot glue the seams. And here's the finished bump out. Goes over the CRT neck. I think that'll work fine. And there's how I put it together. See the hot glue in the corners. That should hold it. And just to make it look more realistic, I pulled all of these corner retainers that was on the old one off. Had to scrape the old fiberboard out of the holes and the backside. Just hot glued them back on. They're just for looks. Alright, I have the TV cabinet up here in the shop. It's time to reassemble. First thing will be the speaker grill. Then we'll mount the CRT bezel and the glass. Here's how the front glass and bezel or surround on the CRT are held in. This little spacer here at the bottom, right there, and a little bracket, and then a nut, the stud that's mounted in the cabinet already. And now we're ready to mount the chassis. The cabinet turned out pretty good. I got a good shine on it. That new veneer looks good. Next I'll be putting on the new water slide decals. Here's the decals I was able to find. Very reasonable. They was like 10 or 12 bucks. I know for sure that I want to put a brightness underneath this hole here, and this is vertical hold, and contrast and on-off volume are on this larger hole, and I may put the contrast there, and there's actually on-off sound, and then it's even got a channel selector water slide, and I could put it right under here. See if I can get these put on. I'll show you what they look like when I'm finished. And the decals installed. Did decide to go ahead and put the on-off sound and contrast and channel selector and fine tuning decals on. And we've got the chassis mounted back in the cabinet. Fortunately, when I tried those replacement knobs, making them work, I was able to center the chassis up and get the spacing correct from front to back, side to side, so that made it a lot easier. when I was ready to put the chassis in for the final time. So we'll put the knobs on and this set should be finished. Here's a picture of the back with that bump out that I fabricated. Turned out okay. Well, that wraps up the restore on a 1955 Travler 21-inch TV. Hope you've enjoyed watching the videos. This TV did present several challenges for me when I was restoring it, but I was able to figure it out, and we got a good working set now. So thanks for watching the videos. See you next time. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, and we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Thanks.